Graham Norton has opened up about 7 guests from his show's golden era who were truly difficult to work with. For the longest time, when people asked about his worst guest, he couldn't give an answer because he didn't want to upset anyone. But now he can finally share the truth. Graham Norton has interviewed hundreds of famous people on his well-known talk show, producing some of television's most memorable and fun interviews. His show has always mixed clever humor, friendly conversation, and those special moments that people love to share online. He has a natural talent for helping even shy celebrities feel comfortable enough to be themselves, which has made his show popular around the world. People everywhere watch for the fun conversations, funny stories, and surprising moments that make regular interviews truly special. However, not all celebrities have been pleasant to work with. Some seemed cold, uninterested, or genuinely hard to deal with, changing what should have been a fun evening into something uncomfortable and tense. Graham has occasionally given small hints about which guests he didn't enjoy hosting, and sometimes he's been straightforward about those who made his work really tough. Now, at age 62, he's ready to be honest, sharing details about the 6 guests he truly disliked, and explaining why those interviews were so uncomfortable. The reasons might catch you off guard. Graham Norton was born Graham William Walker on April 4, 1963, in Clondalkin, a neighborhood in Dublin, Ireland. He grew up mostly in the small town of Bandon in County Cork. His dad, Billy Walker, had a job selling products for Guinness, and his mom, Rhoda, worked as a teacher. Even as a child, Graham was famous for being funny, quick with jokes, and naturally curious, traits that would eventually make him one of Britain's most loved television personalities. He went to Bandon Grammar School, where people first noticed his gift for telling stories and performing. Although he could be quiet sometimes, he enjoyed making others laugh and felt most comfortable using humor. After finishing school, he studied English and French at University College Cork. However, he wasn't truly interested in his academic work. His real dream was to be on stage. Wanting to follow that dream, Graham made a brave choice. He left university before finishing his degree and moved to London to pursue a career in entertainment. Life in London wasn't easy at first. He worked various odd jobs to survive, struggled with money, and kept training at the Central School of Speech and Drama. During this period, he changed his name to Graham Norton, the name everyone would come to recognize. Even with all the difficulties, his determination and natural charm eventually led to success. What started as a tough time in London turned into one of the most amazing success stories in British entertainment. The journey of someone who would become one of TV's most beloved talk show hosts. After completing his training, Graham worked for several years doing comedy shows in small clubs and theaters around London. Those early years were full of mistakes, learning experiences, and trying new things. He developed a comedy style that combined smart jokes, friendliness, and making fun of himself, an approach that would become his signature. His first major opportunity came in the early 1990s when his smart and engaging comedy performances started getting noticed. Then, in 1996, everything shifted. He temporarily took over as host on Channel 5's The Jack Doherty Show, and his fast humor and appealing personality immediately impressed both TV producers and viewers. Just 2 years later, in 1998, So Graham Norton started airing on Channel 4, becoming an immediate success and launching him into fame. This marked the real start of his famous television career. So Graham Norton was daring, wild, and unashamedly hilarious, featuring celebrity conversations, unusual segments, and active audience participation that showed Norton's special ability to make everyone comfortable. His playful humor and natural charm made him popular with both stars and viewers, winning him several BAFTA awards. Following the success of So Graham Norton, he hosted V Graham Norton, which strengthened his position as one of TV's most fun and surprising hosts. His quick thinking and excellent timing transformed awkward situations into pure entertainment, while his real interest in people helped even the biggest celebrities share surprising stories. In 2007, the BBC noticed his talent and gave him an opportunity that would transform his career completely: The Graham Norton Show. It started on BBC Two before switching to BBC One and quickly became popular worldwide. Unlike typical talk shows, Norton's version put several guests on the same couch together, creating natural and funny conversations. The comfortable setting and Norton's easy hosting style produced many viral moments and memorable celebrity exchanges. Besides his talk show, he has hosted big events like the Eurovision Song Contest, BBC's New Year's Eve programs, and his radio show on Virgin Radio. His career proves the value of persistence, being genuine, and using humor effectively, transforming a once struggling Irish performer into a name recognized globally. Graham Norton has now shared details about the 5 guests he disliked the most.
Number 1. Mickey Rourke. His visit to the Graham Norton show was completely different from lively guests like Mark Wahlberg, turning what should have been an exciting segment into something awkward and uncomfortable. From when Mickey Rourke first sat on the red couch, it was clear he had no interest in entertaining anyone. His responses were short, his voice was dull, and he hardly paid attention to the other guests. Even Graham Norton, famous for his sharp humor and natural ability to maintain conversations, appeared to have trouble getting any meaningful responses from him. Sometimes Rourke's unclear answers made Norton ask multiple follow-up questions just to get a complete response, resulting in long, uncomfortable silences. The discomfort wasn't just in what he said, it showed in how he acted physically. He slouched back, wouldn't make eye contact, and seemed totally uninterested, appearing as though he wanted to be somewhere else. The show's usual energy and humor quickly disappeared, and everyone could feel the mood decline. Norton had to manage the entire conversation by himself, covering the gaps created by Rourke's lack of interest. What could have been fun became one of the most strained and challenging interviews Norton has ever done, leaving both him and the audience feeling the awkwardness.
Number 2. Mark Wahlberg. His 2013 visit to the Graham Norton show is still remembered as one of the most chaotic and awkward moments ever seen on the red couch. Fans expecting Wahlberg's usual charm instead witnessed something nobody anticipated. Unlike other difficult guests who seemed distant or bored, Wahlberg's problem wasn't lacking enthusiasm. He had way too much. He was extremely energetic, talked too much, and, as it became clear, was quite drunk. From when he joined the conversation, his unpredictable behavior dominated the show. He kept interrupting Graham and fellow guest Sarah Silverman, making random comments that made the audience uncomfortable, and turning what should have been enjoyable into complete chaos. Mark Wahlberg's attempts at being funny quickly became uncontrollable, and the interview went in a strange direction. In an unexpected moment, he actually climbed onto Graham Norton's lap, put his arm around the host, and delivered a series of awkward jokes while slurring his words. Norton, always professional, attempted to go along with it, but his forced smile showed how uncomfortable things had gotten. Even Sarah Silverman, known for her quick wit, seemed surprised by the chaos happening next to her. Later, Norton acknowledged that the experience was difficult, saying, "He was just out of it. I mean, really out of it." People watching at home couldn't believe what they were seeing. Some thought it was strangely amusing, calling it so bad it's entertaining, while others described it as pure secondhand embarrassment. For a show known for spontaneous humor and lighthearted entertainment, this moment went too far beyond comedy into discomfort. Wahlberg later talked about the incident, laughing about it and admitting he'd had some drinks before filming and just enjoyed himself too much. Still, that night left its impression on the Graham Norton show, a reminder that even the most charming stars can surprise everyone, including Graham himself.
Number 3. Robert De Niro. Though widely recognized as one of Hollywood's most skilled and admired actors, De Niro has also gained a reputation for being one of the hardest people to interview in the industry. His appearance on the Graham Norton show demonstrated exactly why. Unlike most guests who arrive ready to share stories and laugh, De Niro's attitude was clearly reserved. From when he sat down on the famous red couch, it was obvious that maintaining the conversation would be challenging. Norton,
known for his unmatched skill at drawing out even the quietest guests, quickly understood that De Niro's answers were brief, careful, and measured, leaving little space for the usual spark and spontaneity that made the show special. At times, Robert De Niro gave little more than a nod, a slight smile, or a few carefully selected words. The normally energetic and quick pace of the Graham Norton show suddenly required much more effort and patience than usual. Norton did his best to lighten things up with playful jokes and relaxed questions, but De Niro remained composed and protective, sharing only small glimpses of his thinking. At one moment, the difference between De Niro's calm, careful manner and the show's typical energy became so obvious that Norton joked, "This is hard work, Robert," perfectly describing the challenge of maintaining the conversation. Even for a host experienced with big personalities, this specific interview tested his charm, timing, and determination. Though De Niro's reputation as a tough interviewee is well established, watching it happen in real time made the episode memorable. It wasn't filled with laughter or quick back and forth, but rather with the quiet fascination of watching a Hollywood legend be himself. Sometimes the most quiet guests create the strongest impressions. By the end, despite the subdued atmosphere, the interview gave audiences a rare look at De Niro's thoughtful, reflective nature, a quiet moment that stayed with people long after filming ended.
Number 4. Kevin Costner. His appearance on The Graham Norton Show wasn't explosive or overly dramatic. It was just awkward. While Norton's show depends on quick conversation, playful teasing, and infectious energy, Costner's calm and serious manner created a clear contrast. He wasn't rude or dismissive, but his steady, almost emotionless presence didn't match the show's fun spirit. During the segment, Costner often responded to Norton's jokes in a flat, serious way, missing the light humor that powers the show's appeal. The usual back-and-forth rhythm that fans love seemed to stop, creating moments that felt more uncomfortable than funny. It became obvious that while Costner's charm works well on screen, the fast comedic style of a talk show wasn't where he felt comfortable. Graham Norton has frequently stressed how important it is for guests to understand his show's tone and pace. Thinking about his more difficult interviews, he once said, "Some people just aren't made for this format. They don't get it, and that's fine, but it can make for a very long show." In Kevin Costner's case, that comment definitely seemed accurate. Costner's legendary presence and clear authority were evident, but on Norton's energetic stage, they created a dynamic that was both awkward and strangely interesting.
Number 5. Harvey Weinstein. Before his dramatic downfall, Weinstein appeared on The Graham Norton Show, an episode that Norton probably wishes never happened. At that time, Weinstein was still one of Hollywood's most powerful people, a producer whose name carried huge influence. However, even then, quiet rumors about his controlling and dominating behavior were beginning to spread. On set, his presence immediately affected the atmosphere. Long before the world knew the complete truth, it was clear Norton found the interaction uncomfortable. Weinstein took over the conversation, constantly interrupting both Norton and his guests, turning the attention toward himself and his accomplishments. His arrogance was impossible to miss, and it removed the light-hearted humor that typically defined the show. Norton, known for his calm professionalism and quick ability to adapt, clearly struggled to maintain control, doing his best to guide the conversation while dealing with Weinstein's interruptions. Years later, after the shocking discoveries about Weinstein's misconduct shook Hollywood, Norton looked back on that episode with fresh perspective. "I had no idea at the time," he confessed. "But looking back, it all starts to make sense." That appearance now serves as a disturbing reminder, a rare glimpse of someone whose polished public image concealed a much darker reality. It's a moment both Norton and his viewers will never forget.
Number 6. Daryl Hannah. Over the years, Graham Norton has welcomed hundreds of celebrities to his famous red couch. But when asked about the most challenging guest he's ever interviewed, one name consistently appears: Daryl Hannah. Unlike guests who were disruptive, arrogant, or lacking humor, Hannah's challenge was completely different. She simply wouldn't participate. Graham Norton has called his interview with Daryl Hannah one of the most painful of his career. Her responses were limited to single words, and long, uncomfortable silences filled the conversation, making it nearly impossible to keep things moving. In later comments, Norton confessed that it frequently felt like Hannah had been forced onto the show against her wishes. Unlike other reserved guests who still try to engage, Hannah seemed completely disconnected, showing almost no interest in being there. Her unwillingness to participate left Norton with no options, making even his usual humor and smart redirection useless. What should have been an entertaining and energetic segment instead became a tense and awkward struggle, leaving both Norton and the audience disappointed. For the host, it was more than just a tough interview. It was a lasting lesson about how challenging things can be when a guest simply refuses to cooperate.
What makes Graham Norton's revelations about these challenging guests so fascinating isn't just the celebrity gossip, it's what they reveal about the art of hosting itself. Throughout his decades-long career, Norton has developed an almost supernatural ability to read the room, adjust his approach, and salvage even the most uncomfortable situations. But these 6 guests pushed him beyond his usual techniques, exposing the limits of even the most skilled interviewer. The truth is, not every celebrity is cut out for the talk show format. Some are brilliant actors who transform completely on camera during a film, but struggle to be themselves in an unscripted setting. Others, like we saw with Mark Wahlberg, bring too much energy, or the wrong kind of energy, to the table. And then there are those like Daryl Hannah, who seem to fundamentally resist the entire concept of promotional interviews, treating them as an obligation rather than an opportunity. What's remarkable about Norton is that he rarely lets these difficult moments define the show. For every awkward Daryl Hannah interview, there are dozens of magical moments where unexpected chemistry creates television gold. His unique format, putting multiple guests on the same couch, often saves difficult interviews because other celebrities can step in and fill the silence or redirect the energy. Norton has also learned to embrace the awkwardness when it happens. Rather than pretending everything is fine, he'll occasionally acknowledge the tension with a well-timed joke or knowing look to the camera. This honesty with his audience is part of what makes him so beloved. He doesn't try to be perfect, he tries to be real. After hearing about his worst guests, it's worth remembering why Graham Norton has remained at the top of his field for so long. In an era where talk shows are struggling to stay relevant, Norton's program continues to thrive because it offers something genuinely different. Unlike many American talk shows that interview guests one at a time in a more formal setting, Norton creates a party atmosphere. Celebrities often arrive having already had a drink or two, and the relaxed environment encourages them to tell stories they might not share elsewhere. The show has become famous for moments where A-list stars reveal surprising secrets, share embarrassing stories, or show sides of themselves the public rarely sees. Norton's genius lies in his ability to be both cheeky and kind. He'll tease celebrities without being mean-spirited, ask provocative questions without being intrusive, and create moments of genuine connection without becoming overly sentimental. His laughter is infectious, his curiosity seems authentic, and his warmth makes even the most guarded celebrities want to open up. The show has also become a masterclass in controlled chaos. While Norton guides the conversation, he's not afraid to let it go off the rails when something funny or interesting emerges organically. Some of the show's most viral moments have come from unexpected interactions between guests who had never met before sitting down on that famous red couch. These difficult guest experiences have taught Norton and us valuable lessons about fame, personality, and the performance of celebrity itself. Not everyone who is brilliant at their craft is equally brilliant at talking about their craft.
Not everyone who seems charismatic in movies carries that charisma into real-life conversations. There's also something deeply human about watching even the most polished host struggle with a difficult guest. It reminds us that underneath the glamour and the lights, these are still just people trying to have conversations, and sometimes conversations just don't flow. Norton's willingness to finally name names after years of deflecting the question shows a certain freedom that comes with time and success. He's secure enough of his position and reputation that he can be honest about these experiences without fear of burning bridges or damaging his career. And perhaps there's a subtle message to future guests as well. Come prepared to engage, or you might end up on a list you don't want to be on. Despite these challenging moments, The Graham Norton Show continues to be appointment viewing for millions of fans worldwide. Each week brings new combinations of guests, new stories, and new opportunities for those magical moments that make the show special. Norton himself shows no signs of slowing down. At 62, he's as sharp, quick, and engaging as ever. His genuine love for his work shines through in every episode, even when dealing with less than ideal guests. He's created a format that works, a brand that resonates, and a legacy that will endure long after the red couch is retired. The beauty of Norton's show is that even the difficult moments become part of its legend. Fans still talk about Mark Wahlberg's chaotic appearance, debate what was going on with Mickey Rourke, and wonder what would have made Daryl Hannah more comfortable. These uncomfortable moments, in their own strange way, have become as much a part of the show's identity as the triumphant ones.
Graham Norton's journey from a struggling performer in London to one of television's most respected and beloved hosts is a testament to talent, persistence, and authenticity. His willingness to be honest about difficult guests doesn't diminish his achievements. If anything, it makes them more impressive. The fact that he can count his truly terrible guest experiences on one hand after thousands of interviews speaks to both his skill and his graciousness. These 6 guests, Mickey Rourke, Mark Wahlberg, Robert De Niro, Kevin Costner, Harvey Weinstein, and Daryl Hannah, represent the exceptions that prove the rule. They're the moments when everything that usually works didn't, when charm and wit weren't enough, when even Graham Norton's legendary hosting abilities met their match. But here's the thing. Norton doesn't dwell on these failures. He acknowledges them, learns from them, and moves forward. That resilience, combined with his humor and heart, is why audiences keep coming back week after week, year after year. What do you think about Graham Norton's difficult guest experiences? Have you watched any of these awkward interviews? Which guest do you think would have been the most challenging to handle? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear which Graham Norton moments, good or bad, have stuck with you over the years. And if you enjoyed learning about the behind-the-scenes reality of one of television's most beloved talk shows, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating celebrity stories and entertainment industry insights. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Whether you're a longtime fan of The Graham Norton Show or discovering it for the first time, there's always something new to appreciate about how Graham Norton transformed the talk show format and became a global entertainment icon. From the highs to the lows, from the magical moments to the awkward silences, it's all part of what makes Graham Norton and his famous red couch so endlessly entertaining. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you see a seamless, hilarious celebrity interview, take a moment to appreciate the skill, experience, and quick thinking that makes it look so easy. Because as Graham Norton has shown us, sometimes it's anything but easy, and that's what makes the great moments truly special.